Before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever prayed for something so long, so painfully, that you began to wonder if heaven had gone silent? Have you ever felt helpless watching someone you love walk a path you know will destroy them? If you've ever cried in secret, begged God in silence, and kept hoping against hope, then listen to the story of a woman whose prayers changed history, Saint Monica. Because this is not just the story of a mother, it's a story of fierce love, of pain that transforms, of grace that won't let go. Let's begin. Monica was born in 331 AD in the North African town of Tagaste, modern-day Souk Aras in Algeria. Her roots were Berber, a native North African ethnic group, and though she lived under Roman rule, her faith was deeply Catholic. Christianity had only recently been legalized in the empire, just 2 decades before her birth, thanks to the Edict of Milan in 313. She grew up in a devout household, but her early years were far from perfect. We often imagine saints being raised by other saints, but Monica was raised by a strict servant who disciplined her, sometimes harshly. And as a young girl, Monica struggled with a habit that would later become a source of shame: alcohol. Yes, Saint Monica had a drinking problem in her youth. She would sneak sips of wine from the family cellar until one day a servant contacted her and called her out. That moment of humiliation and grace changed her. She gave it up. She never touched it again. Already we see something about Monica. She didn't need a stage to change. Her conversion began quietly in the corners of her heart. Are there things in your life that you're quietly battling, where no one sees the victory but God? Monica's parents married her off, young as she was, to a Roman official named Patricius, and here begins one of the most painful chapters of her life. Patricius was a pagan. He had a violent temper. He mocked Monica's faith and was unfaithful, living a life of immorality and pride. Imagine that. A young woman, devout, married to a man who scorned everything she believed in. But Monica didn't run. She didn't retaliate. She stayed. She bore 3 children, Navigius, Perpetua, and Augustine. Her trials didn't end with her husband. Her mother-in-law, who lived with them, had a sharper tongue and a crueler heart. But Monica endured. She cooked, she served, she prayed. Not once, not for weeks, not for months, for decades. We often celebrate her for praying for Augustine. But did you know she prayed longer for husband and mother-in-law? But here's the miracle. Both of them converted. Patricius was baptized a year before he died. The mother-in-law softened, reconciled, and died in peace. Monica's quiet suffering, her unwavering grace changed them. Sometimes your testimony isn't in your words, but in your endurance. Who in your life is watching how you suffer? Now to Augustine. Brilliant, charismatic, rebellious. He was her joy and her heartbreak. At 16, his father died. Monica wanted him to follow Christ, but Augustine was after something else: truth, fame, and pleasure. He was sent to Carthage to study rhetoric. There he devoured philosophy. He read his Heroes Hortensius, and something awakened in him, a hunger for truth. But instead of the church, he found the heresy of Manichaeism. Mani, the founder, claimed to be the final prophet. The religion preached dualism, that good and evil were equally powerful forces. It allowed Augustine to justify his sins while still feeling spiritually superior. Monica was crushed. She tried to reason with him. He mocked her. She begged him to stop living with his mistress. He refused. He fathered a child at 17. She wept, and when words failed her, she did the only thing left. She prayed. For 17 years. 17. She followed Augustine to Carthage, then to Rome, then to Milan, where he had secretly escaped without telling her, and Monica followed him. When she reached Milan, heartbroken, she met someone who'd change everything: St. Ambrose, the Bishop of Milan. He saw her tears, and he said something that would become a prophecy: "The child of so many tears shall not perish." Augustine began listening to Ambrose. He respected his intellect. For the first time, he was drawn not just to truth, but to wisdom. One day in a garden, Augustine heard a child's voice say, "Tolege, take and read." He opened the scriptures to Romans 13:13. Let us conduct ourselves properly, as in the day not in orgies and drunkenness, not in promiscuity and licentiousness, not in revelry and jealousy. He was struck. Something broke open inside him. He wept. He surrendered. He was baptized by St. Ambrose in 387. The tears Monica had cried over nearly 2 decades bore fruit. What if your prayer today is planting seeds that will bloom long after you're gone? Monica's mission was complete, but God had one more grace. As they journeyed back to Africa, Monica fell ill in the port city of Ostia. Augustine writes in the Confessions with trembling love about her final words. Son, for my own part, I have no further delight in anything in this life. What I do and why I am here, I know not. Now that my hopes in this world are accomplished, there was one thing for which I desired, to linger for a while in this life, that I might see you as a Catholic Christian before I died. My God has done this for me more abundantly, that I should now see you, despising earthly happiness, become his servant. She died in peace. No monuments, no applause, just a whisper of eternity. Today, Monica is a patron of mothers, wives in difficult marriages, alcoholics, victims of abuse, and anyone praying for the return of a lost child. Her feast is on August 27. Her son, St. Augustine, is one of the greatest theologians and saints the Church has ever known. But none of his greatness would exist without her tears and prayers. Who are you weeping for today? Who are you still praying for? Don't give up. If St. Monica's story touched you, I invite you to take a moment, drop a candle emoji in the comments for someone you're praying for. And if you're in the middle of your 17 years, let Monica walk beside you. Subscribe for more stories of quiet, fierce saints. Share this with someone who needs hope today. And remember, God is never late. Thank you for listening.